Love That Universe. First published in Escapade, 1961. Collected in The Wind from the Sun.
Mr. President, National Administrator, Planetary Delegates, it is both an honor and a grave responsibility to address you at this moment of crisis. I am aware, I can very well understand, that many of you are shocked and dismayed by some of the rumors that you have heard. But I must beg you to forget your natural prejudices at a time when the very existence of the human race, of the earth itself, is at stake. Some time ago, I came across a century-old phrase, thinking the unthinkable. This is exactly what we have to do now. We must face the facts without flinching. We must not let our emotions sway our logic. Indeed, we must do the precise opposite. We must let our logic sway our emotions. The situation is desperate, but it is not hopeless. Thanks to the astonishing discoveries my colleagues have made at the Antigean station. For the reports are indeed true. We can establish contact with the supercivilizations at the galactic core. At least we can let them know of our existence. And if we can do that, it should be possible for us to appeal to them for help. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that we can do by our own efforts in the brief time available. It is only 10 years since the search for trans-Plutonian planets revealed the presence of the black dwarf. Only 90 years from now, it will make its perihelion passage and swing around the sun as it heads once more into the depths of space, leaving a shattered solar system behind it. All our resources, all our much-vaunted control over the forces of nature cannot alter its orbit by a fraction of an inch. But ever since the first of the so-called beacon stars was discovered, at the end of the 20th century, we have known that there were civilizations with access to energy sources incomparably greater than ours. Some of you will doubtless recall the incredulity of the astronomers, and later of the whole human race, when the first examples of cosmic engineering were detected in the Magellanic Clouds. Here were stellar structures obeying no natural laws. Even now, we do not know their purpose, but we know their awesome implications. We share a universe with creatures who can juggle with the very stars. If they choose to help, it would be child's play for them to deflect a body like the black dwarf, only a few thousand times the mass of Earth. Child's play, did I call it? Yes, that may be literally true. You will all, I am certain, remember the great debate that followed the discovery of the supercivilizations. Should we attempt to communicate with them? Or would it be best to remain inconspicuous? There was the possibility, of course, that they already knew everything about us, or might be annoyed by our presumption, or might react in any number of unpleasant ways. Though the benefits from such contacts could be enormous, the risks were terrifying. But now we have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And until now, there was another fact that made the matter of no more than long-term philosophical interest. Though we could, at great expense, build radio transmitters capable of sending signals to these creatures, the nearest supercivilization is 7,000 light years away. Even if it bothered to reply, it would be 14,000 years before we could get an answer. In these circumstances, it seemed that our superiors could be neither a help to us nor a threat. But now all this has changed. We can send signals to the stars at a speed that cannot yet be measured, and that may well be infinite. And we know that they are using such techniques, for we have detected their impulses, though we cannot begin to interpret them. These impulses are not electromagnetic, of course. We do not know what they are. We do not even have a name for them. Or rather, we have too many names. Yes, gentlemen, there is something, after all, in the old wives' tale about telepathy, ESP, or whatever you care to call it. But it is no wonder that the study of such phenomena never made any progress here on Earth, where there is the continuous background roar of a billion minds to swamp all signals. Even the pitiably limited progress that was made before the space age seems a miracle, like discovering the laws of music in a boiler factory. It was not until we could get away from our planet's mental tumult that there was any hope of establishing a real science of parapsychology. And even then, we had to move to the other side of the Earth's orbit, where the noise was not only diminished by 180 million miles of distance, but also shielded by the unimaginable bulk of the sun itself. Only there, on our artificial planet Antigeos, could we detect and measure the feeble radiations of mentality and uncover their laws of propagation. In many respects, those laws are still baffling. However, we have established the basic facts. As had long been suspected by the few who believed in these phenomena, they are triggered by emotional states, not by pure willpower or deliberate conscious thought. It is not surprising, therefore, that so many reports of paranormal events in the past were associated with moments of death or disaster. Fear is a powerful generator. On rare occasions, it can manifest itself above the surrounding noise. Once this fact was recognized, we began to make progress. We induced artificial emotional states, first in single individuals, then in groups. We were able to measure how the signals attenuated with distance. Now we have a reliable quantitative theory that has been checked out as far as Saturn. We believe that our calculations can be extended even to the stars. If this is correct, we can produce a shout that will be heard instantly over the whole galaxy. And surely there will be someone who will respond. Now, there is only one way in which a signal of the required intensity can be produced. I said that fear was a powerful generator, but it is not powerful enough. Even if we could strike all humanity with a simultaneous moment of terror, the impulse could not be detected more than 2,000 light years away. We need at least 4 times this range. And we can achieve it by using the only emotion that is more powerful than fear. However, we also need the cooperation of not fewer than 1 billion individuals at a moment of time that must be synchronized to the second. My colleagues have solved all the purely technical problems, which are really quite trivial. The simple electrostimulation devices required have been used in medical research since the early 20th century, and the necessary timing pulse can be sent out over the planetary communications networks. All the units needed can be mass-produced within a month, and instruction in their use requires only a few minutes. It is the psychological preparation for, let us call it, O-Day, that will take a little longer. And that, gentlemen, is your problem. Naturally, we scientists will give you all possible help. We realize that there will be protests, cries of outrage, refusals to cooperate. But when one looks at the matter logically, is the idea really so offensive? Many of us think that, on the contrary, it has a certain appropriateness, even a poetic justice. Mankind now faces its ultimate emergency. In such a moment of crisis, is it not right for us to call upon the instinct that has always ensured our survival in the past? A poet, in an earlier, almost equally troubled age, put it better than I can ever hope to do. We must love one another or die.